Hello and welcome to our first edition of the Pastor's Table. I'm your host, Pastor Adam from Walnut Grove Federal Worship Center here in Dawson Springs, Kentucky. And today, our first guest here is no stranger to the church here. She holds many titles, wears many hats. Uh, Basically, she just gets it all done. She gets it done, and I look pretty at the forefront, making it all happen. So anyway, uh, Miss Janice Stallins here with us this week, and we're just going to what we're going to do is we're just going to let her talk for a little bit and let her tell about herself and give her testimony. If y'all ever been around the Lydia's women's conference that's been going on, this should be the 20th year, right? 19th year.
Let's get up there, so we're getting pretty close again.
Let's see, at 18, 19 years, I guess it is. Anyway, if you've been around it, then you would know. I'm sure you've heard it once or twice, her testimony. So we're going to let her talk to you here for a few minutes and go from there.
Well, good afternoon. It's a privilege to be here, and it's strange that that's how he said he wanted to start was with my testimony, because that's pretty much what's going to happen this year at Lydia. I have had lots of struggles, and nothing to do with me. I give God all the glory. But in 1992, I had a baby. A few months later, I was diagnosed with cancer, and the type that I had, there were no survivors. And long story short, 29 years later, I'm sitting here talking today. And then I've had back surgery. I got to having some breathing problems, and it was around Christmas time, so women busy, don't have time to do too much except shop and cook and do whatever. And so in 2007, Christmas Eve night, I had a heart attack. My husband rushed me to the hospital, and I got there and they had to shock me. The nurses were talking over my head and said that if I'd have been 2 minutes later, they wouldn't have been able to save me. Once again, through God's grace, they operated on me at 3 o'clock Christmas morning, and I'm still here. Then I've had a couple of smaller heart attacks since then. I have a pacemaker, defibrillator, and I've sort of just become a lazy person to survive most of the time. I do what if I feel like doing it, okay. If I don't, I don't. And God's had to give me peace to do that, because I thought I had to be busy a lot. And Adam says I hold a lot of titles and a lot of jobs here, and I guess that's true too. But again, it's not anything to do with me. It's just about God getting the glory. And as much as we do here, it'll never be enough for what He's done for us. And so I appreciate the time to be here. And I will plug Lydia. Will be, I think it's October the 10th this year. And women, we would love for you to make plans to be there. Hopefully all this is going to be, this corona stuff is going to be over, and we'll be able to come in here and have a really good time. Had a good time last year, and I'm looking forward to this time. God is taking me out of my territory and asking me to speak this year for the first time, and not something I can talk, but to actually stand up and speak, it's not something I've done before. So I felt like for some time that God had wanted me to do this, but this year, through everything that we've done and everything that we're going through in our lives, He gave me the theme last year, and buddy, we're doing it now. we're surviving and we're going to thrive. And so that's the theme, and we're just looking forward to a good time. And the church here is uh, always been a part of my life since I was 13 years old. And so uh, Adam asked me to be his first guest, and I think it's just because he couldn't find nobody else to do it. No, not really. But he did that because we've been working together to make sure that we have the word out. Uh, Tamara and I have been helping him make sure that the word has been kept out so that people are still getting God's word, and that's important right now. So we need to be uplifted and uplifting.
If everything's not back to normal, do y'all have plans for Lydia to go viral, or what is your?
I'll I'm waiting on God. If He tells me that that's what we're going to have to do, then that's what we'll have to do. But if not, then we'll just leave it like it is. We like it here because women like pretty stuff. I mean, let's just get over that. We do. We like fancy little nice things, and we like to be pampered some. And so at Lydia, we try to pamper the women. We try to make sure that they are given little gifts, and we serve them a nice little lunch, and we try to make them feel special for that day. And doing it virally, we can't do quite that much, but if we have to, we have to, and God will understand that. And so I know He's not given us a menu or anything like that yet. He's not given me anybody to sing yet or lead our praise and worship. Not necessarily, He doesn't necessarily do that on the schedule. And we take it as we get it. And I might not be the person that gets who's supposed to do something, because that happens a lot, and it's something that I have been very easy to work with, because if God gives it to somebody else, all they have to do is say, Janice, this is what God said to do, and then that's where we go. And so it's worked really well, and so
We've seen at the beginning of the year, we have revival plans. We're slap dab in the middle of when this Corona mess started, and we couldn't even get anybody in mind for the revival. It just drew a blank and went to the back burner, and really didn't even think about it until after we was told not to come together anymore. And I got to looking at my date book one day, and I said, I have a revival schedule, and right slap dab in the middle. So, this year God's really been moving things out because of what path has been laid before us here. So
we had sat down the first of the year, and we had made calendars sort of through the first 6 months anyway, pretty much about what we were going to plan on doing. And you know what? After this point, we got any of that.
June. Let's see, we're in May now. June 14th, we're supposed to have a singing.
And
that's if
I saw that in there on the desk just now, and I thought, boy, I don't see that happening. But it might.
I mean, they're still planning on being at the other church the night before, so I don't know, but nevertheless, so she made mention about being here since she was 13, and I forgot to throw this in earlier. She is my dad's sister, so she is my aunt. It's blood here. So my dad and my grandma and grandpa all went to church here. They was baptized out here in our baptistry. My grandma and grandpa was laid out back here behind us. So the family has been through here 40 years, somewhere around 40 years.
More like 50.
He done 70, yeah, I guess so.
50.
Yeah, about 50 years then. So, it's an honor and privilege for me to be able to pastor the church where they they win. You know, it was a big legacy here at this church with the Rambos and everybody, and the Rambos played a intricate part in my family's history. So, but so you know, now here we are, been here since August of last year. Um, Janice has been here a whole lot longer than I have. So how long you been secretary?
3 or 4 years.
How long you been trustee?
About the same amount of time.
How long you been activities director?
Uh, Probably a little bit longer than that. Probably about 6, 8 years, maybe longer.
Then you did Lydia about 20 years. So you know, she's 62. So I mean, you know, might as well say all our life she's been here. So, but anyhow, then we got you know, her daughter Tamara. She's talking about having a baby. She's still a baby, 27 years old. But anyhow, she's the dance director here. So you know, everybody in the family that's still able and still coming, except my dad and them are still here and still involved. So that says a whole lot right there. You know, we have a good church. It was small when we left. Uh, you know, I don't know when we come back to 24th. I don't know what we're gonna. You know, I'm anticipating a whole lot of people. So you know, I don't know. We have what when we left. When was the last service we had? Have y'all
Oh
looked?
gosh, I don't know. It's about.
Was it February?
Probably early
March?
Early March.
Early March.
And we left with what, like
About anywhere from 18 to 25.
18 to 25. So that's what we was holding in, which was good. So you know now we're coming back 2-3 months later. Hopefully the house full, God willing. So
And I'm the one that's watching for the restrictions that we have to follow, because they haven't given us a written list yet. It's just sort of, you have to sort of read between the lines of what they're saying, of what they expect us to do. And so it's going to be a lot different. We're used to, we don't pass an offering plate at our church, or we haven't in a long time. We have somebody go up front and stand and hold the offering plate, and people come up and give their offering and give their tithes to God. We don't take them; they come and give it to them.
and that's a form of worship. I mean,
It
you
is,
know.
it is, and but when we come back, we're not going to be able to do that. So we're going to have, you know, time offering pans sitting, and people are going to have to do that, but they can't only come up one at a time. You know, we have to abide by this 6-foot rule, and so we have a lot of things we have to do. I've been trying to order us some masks and some hand sanitizer, and well, you know, you just can't really find it. And so we're doing what we can. We don't want nobody to come in here and get sick. We don't want that, and but we do want to get people in here. The Bible says not to forsake gathering together, and so if you miss it whenever you're not together with your church family, it's hard, and so.
But you know, talking to some other pastors, I think we have had a pretty good run with this virtual church deal.
On Facebook.
7,796. That's how many we've reached on Facebook. It's even went as far as Russia. Janice's daughter went to school with a girl at UK. She's in Russia now, and they seen the service over in Russia. So we can actually say, truthfully, that Walnut Grove has shared the word outside the United States. It might have been done before, but to my knowledge, that's the first time it's happened. So you know, God, and talking to other preachers, they say they're seeing, you know, maybe 1 or 2 different people, but I mean I'm hearing and seeing from people I don't even know, and they're just getting it by the way of somebody else, you know, people from all over different states. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I know this right here. We put the word out, and that's all we're required to do. You know, we could easily sit down and not done nothing. There is a lot of, I mean, there's some churches that ain't even putting videos out for their members to even see, and they're getting fed by somebody else. Which is that's fine. I mean, you know, it's not like you're fishing out of somebody else's pond. You're just feeding their fish. You know, you're not trying to catch somebody else's fish. You're just feeding them. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. Anything wrong with that. So, but we will be doing a little bit of change when we come back. Aside of what she said with the restrictions and all, 2 o'clock will be our new service time, and I'm excited about that. I think 2 o'clock is going to be a good thing. We've got people coming from other churches that came at night time when we had night services. Well, due to the weather and get dark early, we had to cut that back because we had some people that couldn't drive after dark. So it just put us down to having one service a week, and that was Sunday mornings. Well, these other people that couldn't come, you know, I felt like we was doing a disservice to them because it was coming, all of a sudden we took it away from them. So at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that's a perfect time. You know, you get out of your morning church and come here, and you know you can go somewhere else after that if you choose to. So I think 2 o'clock's going to work out fine. I think it's going to be real good for us.
I'm sort of excited about that too. It's going to be something new, something to get used to. I'm used to being here at church by about 9 o'clock Sunday mornings, and then I don't leave here till about 1 or 1:30. And I'm here doing. I'm working before service, and then I go out and enjoy service. I come back and I work after service. So, but I'll do the same on Sunday afternoons. I'm sure I'll grab some lunch, and then I'll come out here and be ready to go. And so I will plug something else here too. The Tamara and Jada are doing Zooming with Jesus for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't had a real big response, but if you have kids, please join them. Right now, they're doing it on Sunday afternoons at 1 o'clock. That will probably have to change some when we go back to church at 2. And
no, it won't change right off the bat because we can't.
Well, but they won't be. Yeah, they can't have Sunday. We're not going to be able to have Sunday school, but that time won't work either because that'll be the time you would be traveling to get here. So they're going to have to adjust that a little bit. But just watch. Tamara and Jada are good about sharing and putting that out. And right now they're studying parables, and the kids that are participating are really enjoying it. So if you've got kids, tune in and let them watch, because you know what? We're not the only ones that need to be fed. Those little guys need to be fed too. And they're doing without friendship from their friends because they've not been to school. They've not been to, they're not able to go out to the parks and play and different things. They're just as tied down as the adults. And a lot of times people forget them. Now, God had always given me a heart for kids. I worked in the school system for 14 years, and so I understand kids. And God moved me from kids to women, and now I have my call is to to teach women and to work with women. And, we had Bible studies here. We was right in the middle of one. When all this started, we had to stop. The Women of Easter. And buddy, I tell you what, that's a book by Liz Curtis Higgs. If you've never read it, I highly recommend it. Even to the men need to read it because it's an awesome book. When I got through with it, I made sure one of the other women from the group got it, and when she finishes it, she's going to pass it on. So we're going to pass that around the church and let everybody read it because it is an awesome, awesome book.
So. Years ago, they used to bring the kids and drop them off at church, and they'd come back and get them. Parents, when they wanted to have some free time or whatever on Sundays, which was fine. I didn't have a problem with that because, you bring your kids in and they get taught and they get spiritually fed and they get prayed over. They take that spirit back home, and you trust and believe that God's going to move in that home through that. So while you're in quarantine and kids can't get out nowhere, at 1 o'clock on Sundays, why don't you just take your laptop, set your kids somewhere in a room for half hour to an hour, set them in front of that computer and let them watch these two women teach them about Jesus while you go on and have your, free time or house cleaning time or whatever you do, if it was back to where you could take your kids and drop them off. When we open back up, if you choose to want to bring your kids to church, bring them on. I don't have a problem with it. I've heard pros and cons of both of it, but I don't really have a problem with it though. I'd rather see them here than see them somewhere else, tossed out in the world, tossed out in the streets, and having the streets to teach them. Because we're seeing a whole group of people nowadays have been taught by the streets. And that's not where you want your kids to be taught. You don't want the streets to teach them because they'll end up in prison or they'll end up somewhere back in this graveyard. And you definitely don't want that. So at 1 o'clock on Sunday, stick them in front of a computer screen. They're probably there half the time anyway, either that or some kind of gaming system. So why not put them in front of a computer screen where they've been taught about Jesus? So anyway, that's my soapbox there on that. So, Janice, I see you got your Bible there. Why don't you flip open and give us a little something there?
What do you want?
I don't know, whatever you got.
Whatever I got. Let me think a minute.
While she's looking, let me share something with you too. We're going to do this once a week. This here is our first one. Just a little trial run. See how this is going to go. But in the future, you're going to see people from the medical field that come on here and talk with you about how faith and medicine go hand in hand. People from the law enforcement community, how their faith affects their job while they're on duty. You'll see maybe a few politicians come on here. So we're going to have a variety of people. I've been talking to my boss, maybe having him come on here about farming and faith, how your faith and farming and agriculture go hand in hand. So every week, this is going to be something beneficial to you, something that maybe, you're out there and your line of work is, say you're a police officer, you're a farmer, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, or paramedic, get somebody to come on here and to talk to you about how they deal with their daily life from day to day and how their faith affects what they do. So be once a week. I'm probably gonna. I can't really tell you when it'll be. It just be once a week. So it all depends on everybody's schedule. So, but anyway, be prepared for that. Mother's Day is this Sunday. Got a good Mother's Day message ready for the mothers. And I think we're gonna be doing a little. No, let me back that up. I thought we was gonna be doing some traveling this weekend, going and seeing the mothers, but we're not. She went another direction, took care of that, so we ain't gonna. I might still come visit you. I don't know. We'll see.
Since it is Mother's Day, I think here's what I'm looking for.
I bet she steals my message.
Proverbs 31.
Message stealer. I knew it. Told you.
Well, I was looking at Ecclesiastes 3,
Mm-hmm.
and that is, I can read that.
Was that read over your daddy?
It was the verse that Brother Donald used at my daddy's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
It says, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. What does a worker gain from his toil? So, right now, I think that's something we have to understand. There's a time for everything. And I know that people are hurting financially, and I know people want out, and I know they are really holding. They're really angry and at some of our leaders and all. I've been praying for these guys. I've been praying for wisdom, strength, and courage for them to do what they need to do to keep as many safe as they can. And I have a friend that lost her mother. The next day, she lost her dad, and she buried them both at the same time of this virus. And, I see that and I think, we're so blessed. We might be a little inconvenienced, but we're still the most blessed people. Look at all the advantages that we do have. And there's so many things to entertain ourselves with. We have the internet, we have television, we have all this stuff. And I understand that people want to do and get out, but, think about who you might run into that you might have the germ and you not know it, and that would hurt me is if I knew that I hurt somebody and I could have prevented it. That would kill me. So, since it is Mother's Day, I am going to read this because this is, and we'll wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day. And the woman from our church has something coming through the mail. And it's not much, but we'll do something more when we get back in church. And I did put a note in there about that. So, but this is the wife of noble character. A wife of noble character who can find. She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like the merchant ships bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it is still dark. She provides food for her family and portions for her servant girls. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her task. She sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. In her hand she holds the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. She makes coverings for her bed. She is clothed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes his seat among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies the merchants and sashes. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive, beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her the reward she has earned, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. So that tells women how they should live their life. And that's, open it up, read it. It's there. The Bible will answer any question you've got on anything you need to ask.
Talking about inconvenience a while ago, I just wonder if Jesus felt inconvenience when he had to go through what he went through for us. We feel inconvenience because we had to stay in the house. Just imagine how he felt. He had a chance to call down angels, take him off the cross. He had a chance when he went into the garden to say he was done. He didn't want no more. But he said, nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. I wonder how many of us have stopped and thought about that during this. Well, I know this ain't my will. I know this ain't what I want. This ain't the way I choose to live. But you show me what the outcome is out of this. You show me what I'm going to receive, what everybody else around me is going to receive out of this. I feel like since we've been doing these virtual videos, the Lord's moved. He spoke. He spoke some good word to the church. I believe last night we couldn't hardly go to sleep. The Lord just molding over and over and over in my head different things and things that he wants done. And big things are coming. I'm excited. I'm excited for the church. Not only this church here, but the churches around. It's time we come together and be the church. Not be separate. but be the church, be the one church.
We've all got to work together, and that's something that most Christians find hard to do.
Yep.
Whether it's in your own church or whether it's as a large group as far as the church working together, it's something that's not always easy.
I mean, you know, the hand might be in this church and the foot might be in the Baptist church, but it's still part of the body. So nevertheless, all righty. Well, as we bring this thing to a close, we hope you join us again next week for the pastor's table. You can find us on Facebook, and we also have a church website, which is, does anybody know? Walnut Grove.
FamilyRighteousSound.wobbly.com. We've not done the domain yet.
We'll get it posted on our Facebook page. So just check out our Facebook page. Everything that you'll need to be there. Church website, upcoming events, and all that. Okay. So the 24th at 2 o'clock. If you can be with us at all, come be with us. I know they're saying reduced population, this and that and other. We got enough room in here. We can separate everybody out. Don't worry. Come on anyway. 2 o'clock, be here. We love you. Until next week, God bless you.